This past week has been one of the most transformative weeks I've had in my life in a long time. And it's very easy to, sorry, I meant to say, it's very interesting to kind of like reflect on everything, just in terms of like what I recognize I need for myself moving forward, recognizing what works, what doesn't work. Here's what I've come to realize. Throughout a long time, I don't know how long, I have seeked overstimulation through mindlessly scrolling Netflix, just overindulgence, right? And what I'm recognizing is necessary now. Well, it always has been necessary, but what I'm going to utilize moving forward is, and this is actually the same idea for investing financially, and that is paying myself first. Um, and this means giving my energy to myself first before I give it to anybody else, right? Um, I have spent my entire life giving my energy to everything and everyone else first before me. And that's because of belief systems that I have learned about myself, um, growing up. But it's just so interesting to be here because what happened for me, not to me, what happened for me the other day just gave me valuable insights. Um, I realize now that I've always known what I've wanted for myself. But at the same time, it's like I haven't always, because if you don't spend enough time by yourself, and when I say by yourself, I mean by yourself, no technology, nothing, silence. And then, of course, after that, once you gain insights on behalf of the spending time by yourself, the silence, all that stuff, it allows for you to recognize what is important for you, what you do like, what you don't like. Um, and for an individual to be able to experience that is absolutely crucial, because if you never find out what it is that you do and don't like, you're just going to end up spending your time around people that are not for you because they don't share the same values, the same interests as you. And so, also this goes into learning a belief early on in life that the world doesn't like you. And that happens very early on in the family, maybe when a parent does something, um, and you're too young to realize that it has nothing to do with you, but you just end up living with a belief that you're just not worthy of anything good. It's just crazy to be here and to like realize all of this stuff now. um, Taking all of my energy back on myself and not feeling guilty for doing so. When you live your entire life as somebody who people pleases or appeases as to not create conflict, literally in this moment, I just realized something new about myself. Wild. When you spend your entire life like that, maybe it's not something completely new that I realized, but it's just more dots being connected, right? When you spend your entire life doing that, you learn that that's who you are, even though it's not. If you spend a certain amount of time throughout your life doing something, you're going to be conditioned into believing that that's just your role and that's who you are and that's what life is for you. And then it's crazy when you find out that it's not. So I'm at the point in my life where I've discovered that the way that I've lived my life for so long is based around trauma and everything. People pleasing, appeasing as to not create conflict, also as to not lose people, right? You don't want to upset people because if you upset people, you're going to be responsible for their emotions. Not true, of course, but this is what people um, who, you know, feel like they're responsible for people's emotions as a result of trauma believe, right? So therefore, you don't want to upset people because if you upset people, then you got to do everything you can to change their mood, which you don't. But it's just very interesting how all of this stuff, and also another thing that I've really started to like sit with is, what does Chris want? When is Chris ready to do this or that? And when I say when is Chris ready, I'm not talking about like, okay, I'm waiting for life to make this ready. Like I'm waiting for. No, it's not a matter of waiting for life. It's a matter of, does Chris want to talk about this or that right now with this person? No? Okay, then don't. oh, but what will this person think about it if I don't do it right now, because they clearly want to do it right now, and if I don't do it right now, I might end up upsetting them, this, that, and the... No, not your responsibility. I'm realizing now that if I just don't have space for something, to talk about something, for someone, to do something for someone, I will not do it, period. And that's cool. It's cool to be there because I've never been there before. I've never been at that point in my life. It's very important for me to have this sense of groundedness in who I am and what I need and what I want to create, all that stuff. And I know that it's going to change the dynamics of everything moving forward. So it's just very interesting how the other day this all started with me having this experience and just realizing, dude, your energy is scattered all over the place. Bring that good stuff back to you. You are overstimulated. You're not doing what you really want to do for yourself. You're still living from a place of feeling like you need to people please because you learned an outdated belief system that's not even true, that you're just not worthy of anything good, so therefore you settle, and you don't do for yourself what you know you want to do. And so then that's when I started taking my energy back on myself, and it's like, well, what does Chris want? What does Chris want? Chris wants time alone. Chris wants to create what Chris wants, whether it's art, whether it's video, music, whatever it is. And it's just so interesting because this is going to change my life moving forward. Now, this all resulted, of course, when I was reaching a threshold of overwhelm and exhaustion and just like everything. I was very hungry because I hadn't eaten that day. So that changed the dynamics of everything too. But I remember hearing in my head, accept what is in this moment as if you have chosen it. And I know exactly where I heard that from. I remember everything. And it just changed the dynamics of everything. I completely surrendered to what was. And it changed the dynamics of everything. But this also made me realize that, like, wow, dude, you're overstimulated. Your energy, your awareness is scattered everywhere. Just bring it all back to yourself, and let's recalibrate. And that's what's happening right now.